Fatimah's Sorrow, Episode 3. They ran into the building and began to search every room in the building. "Fatimah!" Jubril called out frantically. In the dimly lit hallway of the school building, Jubril and Memuna's footsteps echoed as they raced through the corridors, their urgent search for Fatimah driving them forward. The harsh fluorescent lights flickered overhead, casting eerie shadows that danced across the walls. As they burst into each room, the air was heavy with anticipation and fear. The adrenaline coursing through their veins heightened their senses, every creak of a door or rustle of papers sending their hearts racing. Suddenly a groan pierced the tense silence, sending a shiver down their spines. They froze, listening intently, hoping beyond hope that it was Fatimah. The groan came again, louder this time, carrying with it a plea for help that sent chills down their spines. Without hesitation, Jubril and Memuna sprinted towards the source of the sound, their feet pounding against the cold, hard floor. Their breath came in ragged gasps as they rounded the corner, their eyes widening in horror at the sight before them. There, sprawled on the rough ground, lay Fatimah, her fragile form curled up in a ball, clad only in her underwear. Blood stained her lips and nose, bruises marring her skin, and her face swollen from the brutality of the attack. Memuna's cry of anguish echoed through the empty hallway as she knelt beside her best friend, her hands trembling as she reached out to comfort her. Jubril quickly shed his coat, offering it to Memuna to cover Fatimah's exposed body, his heart heavy with anger and concern. As Memuna cradled Fatimah in her arms, tears streaming down her cheeks, Jubril dashed outside in search of water. He found a well nearby and hurried back with a bottle, the urgency of the situation etched on his face. With gentle hands, Memuna splashed the cool water on Fatimah's face, coaxing her back to consciousness. With each precious drop, Fatimah's eyelids fluttered open, groaning in pain as she struggled to make sense of her surroundings. When Fatimah opened her eyes, she groaned in pain once more. "What happened?" she croaked. Jubril held the water bottle to her lips, and she happily gulped the liquid down. "We don't know. We just found you here and—" Memuna started but couldn't finish her words before breaking down, sobbing. "We will figure that out later. Right now, my priority is to get you home safely," Jubril said. With aching tenderness, Memuna helped Fatimah into her creased and dirty uniform, while Jubril staunchly stemmed the flow of blood from her nose. Their hearts ached with the weight of unanswered questions and the rawness of their friend's pain. Fatimah looked at Jubril and noticed that he was very worried. She couldn't risk him feeling that way about her, because Jane had been clear. Her hateful words rang out in Fatimah's subconscious. Avoid Jubril at all costs, Oregon face even greater consequences. If Jane and her clique found out that Jubril was with her now, then they would surely make good with their threat. Fatimah certainly did not wish this kind of treatment on anyone, much less herself, so she made a decision right there and then. She turned to Memuna. "Please tell him to leave. I don't want to see him right now." Memuna was shocked. "Calm down, Fatimah. I know you are in shock." She put her arms around her friend's shoulders and continued in a gentle voice. "Jubril went through so much trouble in searching for you today. Why do you want him to leave when he hasn't done anything wrong?" Although he was hurt, Jubril forced a smile and said, "Don't worry, Memuna. I understand where she is coming from. I will call a cab for you both." He then walked out of the building. "He is a nice guy," Memuna told Fatimah, who wasn't really listening because she was feeling very dizzy. "What happened to you?" "It's nothing, Memuna," Fatimah replied. She didn't intend to hide things from her best friend, but she had to because of Jennifer. She was sure if she told Memuna what they did to her, she would confront them or even report them to the disciplinary committee of the school. "Why are you always keeping things from me?" Memuna asked angrily. "I'm so sorry, Memuna. Can you please keep this incident a secret from my parents? It would only add fuel to the fire," Fatimah pleaded. "What should I tell them when we get to your house?" Memuna asked exasperatedly. Fatimah thought for a while. "Just tell them that I fell down," she said, and Memuna looked at her in disbelief before nodding hesitantly. Jubril returned after a while and informed them that a cab was waiting outside the school compound. "Fatimah, before you leave, I have just one question." Fatimah tensed, but she nodded, so Jubril asked, "Will you at least tell us who did this to you?" Fatimah gulped visibly and fear crept into her eyes, but she replied in a small voice, "Jane." Jubril and Memuna gaped at Fatimah in shock. Finally, Jubril spoke up in a clipped tone. It was obvious that he was angry. "Let's go, the cab is waiting." And so, as they bundled Fatimah into the waiting cab, their hearts heavy with worry and resolve, they knew that the road ahead would be fraught with challenges. But together, they would weather the storm. Bound by the unbreakable bonds of friendship and the shared determination to seek justice for their beloved Fatimah. "Please don't say anything to Jane because we don't have any concrete evidence to prove her guilt." Memuna pleaded to a fuming Jubril who, after a moment of angry silence, finally sighed and nodded. "I understand. Please take care of Fatimah," he said. Memuna nodded and the cab zoomed off in the direction of Fatimah's house. But amidst the chaos and confusion, Fatimah's voice cut through the haze, her plea for secrecy a stark reminder of the dangers that lurked in the shadows. Fear and determination mingled in her gaze as she begged her friends to keep silent, to protect them from the wrath of those who sought to harm her. In the end, they arrived home safely, but Fatimah's ordeal left scars that would take time to heal. The cab arrived at Fatimah's family home within a short time, and the girls got out, with Memuna assisting Fatimah inside, as her parents were still at work. Memuna suggested helping Fatimah to her room, but Fatimah insisted she was fine, and urged Memuna to go home, expressing concern for her safety at night. Memuna reluctantly agreed, bidding Fatimah farewell with a hug before leaving. Alone in her room, Fatimah reflected on the events of the day and the kindness of Memuna and Jubril. She felt grateful to have been rescued from a potentially dangerous situation. However, memories of Jane's cruelty brought tears to her eyes. Aware that she needed to manage her pain, Fatimah decided to take a warm shower, have some painkillers, and prepare dinner for her parents. Afterwards, she showered and took her medication before settling into bed, feeling emotionally drained. Later, Haja Bintu returned home and found Fatimah asleep with a fever. Worried, she woke her daughter up and checked on her condition, offering to prepare food for her. Fatimah declined, but eventually agreed to eat a few spoonfuls to appease her mother. Despite taking her medication, Fatimah found it difficult to sleep due to the disturbing memories of the day's events. Eventually, exhaustion overtook her, and she drifted into an uneasy sleep. Meanwhile, Memuna arrived home to find her mother waiting anxiously. Concerned for her daughter's safety, her mother scolded her for being late, fearing she might have fallen into bad company. Memuna tearfully explained that she had been helping Fatimah, who was sick and alone at home. Relieved and apologetic, Memuna's mother hugged her and praised her for her kindness. Memuna then updated her mother on Fatimah's condition and asked her to check on her friend. Her mother agreed and attempted to call Fatimah's mother but received no answer. After several attempts, Fatimah's mother finally answered and reassured Memuna's mother that Fatimah was improving. They exchanged pleasantries and agreed that Memuna would visit Fatimah the next day. Memuna's mother relayed the message to Memuna, who felt relieved knowing her friend was doing better. Memuna arrived at school early the next day, intending to report the incident to the school authorities and investigate what happened to her friend the previous day. However, before she could act, the daily assembly began. During the assembly, the principal made a surprising announcement, calling Jane and her clique to the stage. He revealed that they had been accused of bullying a student and would be placed in detention until the matter was investigated. This news shocked the students, especially considering Jane's reputation. After the assembly, Memuna contemplated reporting the incident to the principal, but decided against it, not wanting to cause more trouble for her friend Fatimah. Later, Jubril approached Memuna and asked about Fatimah's well-being. They discussed whether to report the bullying incident to the principal, but Memuna was hesitant, respecting Fatimah's wishes. Despite Memuna's objections, Jubril decided to report the matter to the principal. He narrated the incident, and the principal assured him that he would handle the situation. The principal then summoned Jane and her clique to his office for questioning. Despite Jane's denial, the principal was determined to uncover the truth and warned them of consequences if found guilty. After school, Memuna and Jubril visited Fatimah's house. They found it unlocked but empty. Inside, they discovered Fatimah asleep in her room. Memuna woke her, and Fatimah revealed that she had attempted suicide due to personal struggles. Memuna tried to comfort Fatimah, who insisted on being left alone. Jubril apologized for any pain he had caused. and Fatimah forgave him but asked him to leave. Later at home, Jubril's mother asked about Fatimah, and Jubril expressed his liking for her, though he was unsure about rushing into marriage. However, he changed the subject to avoid further discussion. The next morning, Fatimah woke up tired but managed to complete her chores, get ready for school and head out. Surprisingly, her mother, Hajia Bintu, found her already dressed and expressed concern about her health. Fatimah reassured her mother that she was feeling better and received some money for lunch and transport. At the school gate, Fatimah encountered Jane, who threatened her into silence about the incident in the uncompleted building. Trembling with fear, Fatimah complied and went to join the assembly. Afterwards, she was summoned by the principal, suspecting the reason why. In the principal's office, Fatimah lied, claiming she attempted suicide due to frustration with her illness. The principal, though skeptical, accepted her story but instructed her to inform her parents and promised not to involve them. Relieved, Fatimah left the office, feeling better knowing Jane would leave her alone. During break, she confided in Memuna about the encounter with the principal. Jubril, attempting to reconcile, offered Fatimah a gift, but she rejected it, leading Memuna to intervene and accept it on Fatimah's behalf. Meanwhile, Jane, witnessing the exchange, grew jealous and concocted a plan to smear Fatimah's reputation by spreading rumors of her seducing Jubril. The rumor spread throughout the school, causing turmoil among the students. Later that afternoon, the principal addressed the final year students, providing them with their exam timetable for examination, which was starting in 2 weeks' time, and advising them to excel. The students were thrilled at the prospect of leaving school soon and prepared for their upcoming exams. Jubril, chatting with his friends, expressed his excitement and shared notes with them before heading to revision classes. As the excitement of the upcoming exams filled the air, Fatimah couldn't help but feel a sense of dread gnawing at her insides. She knew she had to focus on her studies, but the rumors swirling around her made it nearly impossible to concentrate. In the midst of all the chaos, she found solace in the library, burying herself in her books in an attempt to block out the whispers and stares that followed her everywhere she went. But even there, she couldn't escape the feeling of being watched, of being judged. Meanwhile, Jane revealed in the chaos she had caused, her smirk growing wider with each passing day. She took pleasure in seeing Fatimah squirm, knowing that she held the power to destroy her reputation with just a few whispered words. But as the days passed and the exams drew nearer, Fatimah's determination to succeed only grew stronger. She refused to let Jane's malicious gossip dictate her future, channeling all her energy into her studies instead. However, just when it seemed like things couldn't get any worse, a new threat emerged. Rumors began to circulate that the upcoming exams had been leaked, sending shockwaves through the student body. The principal, alarmed by the allegations, launched an investigation to uncover the source of the leak. Suspicion fell on several students, including Fatimah and Jubril, whose close association with her made him a prime suspect. As tensions reached a boiling point, Fatimah found herself caught in the crossfire once again. With her future hanging in the balance, she knew that she had to clear her name before it was too late. But as she delved deeper into the mystery, she soon realized that the truth was far more sinister than she could have ever imagined. And with time running out, she knew that she would have to risk everything to uncover the dark secrets lurking beneath the surface of her seemingly ordinary school. Determined to clear her name and unravel the mystery of the leaked exams, Fatimah embarked on a covert investigation, enlisting the help of her closest friends, Memuna and Jubril. Together they pored over clues, piecing together fragments of information in a race against time. Their quest led them down a twisted path of deceit and betrayal, uncovering a web of corruption that reached far beyond the walls of their school. Along the way, they encountered unexpected allies and formidable adversaries, each with their own hidden agendas. As they delved deeper into the heart of the conspiracy, Fatimah and her friends found themselves drawn into a dangerous game of cat and mouse, where one wrong move could cost them everything. But despite the risks, they pressed on, fueled by their determination to expose the truth and bring those responsible to justice. Along the way, they discovered shocking revelations that shook them to their core, forcing them to question everything they thought they knew. As the tension reached its breaking point, Fatimah and her friends found themselves faced with an impossible choice: to continue their pursuit of justice or to turn back and protect themselves from the forces arrayed against them. But with the fate of their future hanging in the balance, they knew that there could be no turning back. For in the end, only by facing their fears and confronting the darkness within could they hope to emerge victorious. And so, with courage and determination, they forged ahead, ready to confront whatever dangers lay ahead in their quest for truth and redemption. The story continues. Watch out for episode 4.